Hey, freaking viewers, me and Buster Green here with another episode of Gundam Build Guide. I'm getting over a cold, so sorry if I sound a bit weird. Not too much is going on this week. Let's start with some normal Gundam news, where we have exciting but kind of spoilerific news for the Islands of Kukra Stone movie. So, the news that dropped this week is so spoilery that I was kind of disappointed to hear it, and I actually would have been more excited to just see this naturally in the movie. So you know what, I'm not going to tell you what happened. Google it if you really care, or just watch the movie and be surprised, because the movie is coming out in Japan in 2 weeks, and hopefully it's coming out in America soon after that. Cough cough Netflix. But to boil it down, this movie is going to have a lot of cool fan service moments, and long-term Gundam fans should be really satisfied with it. Related to that, in what isn't a spoiler, we have the runtime for the movie, and it's a whopping 108 minutes, just shy of 2 hours. So this is going to be a really chunky anime, actually. This is a whole Kukra Stone story arc here. Way more than just the original 20-minute episode it's based on. Also, that is slightly longer than the anime movie I'm working on, so that makes me feel totally justified. Special thanks as always to my only Patreon subscriber, SpiderHero55, who has now requested I refer to him by his full name. Alright, so anyway, let's talk about Gundam Breaker Mobile now. Some stuff is going down this week, but nothing that huge. There is no new banner this week, thank God. I guess they realized that no one went for it the last couple of weeks, and so now they're saving them for the new missions, which is a really good move. I think it's better if they hold them back, because I always hate it when they just release a suit for the sake of releasing it, and I have to be like, oh, this suit's really cool, but it's not going to do anything for me. Now it seems like they're just holding it back for the next mission, and the mission incentives make me feel like I'm at least getting something for my buck, so that makes me more inclined to pull when I know it's going to help me with the mission. Speaking of missions though, we did this week get the Rebake scenario mission, which, to challenge myself, I beat it with almost the entire old school Gujian 4-star from 3 years ago, plus some upgraded hardcore weapons. Oh, and while I was playing around with the Rebake, I did get very into the part affinity attachment system. That's a new feature. Long story short, if you have two parts with the same name, powering both of them up will make both of them stronger. I completely took advantage of this during the scenario mission. Now, I played this mission a couple of different times with a few different Gujian Rebake builds, and yeah, as it turns out, you don't really need the new Gujian Rebake if you have the one from 3 years ago. You just need to upgrade it to have good enough stats for it to clear the mission. But yeah, if you have the new one, I guess it'll be easier. Just remember, you need to save the Gujian's forearm insta-death skill for the final boss, who has his own extreme insta-death skill. So it ends up being a Mexican standoff of insta-death skills, but otherwise it's one of the funner extreme scenario missions, and challenging myself to do it with the older suit actually put a pretty nice spin on it. Now, aside from that, I've mentioned this before, but I only took advantage of it this week. The Arena Award this month is the Charity SD Yami Shogun. So I finally redeemed it, and much to my surprise, it has a very super interesting multiplayer EX skill cooldown of 15% when you max it out. And that's extremely good timing because the fucking Rafflesia is back this week. And if you don't know the Rafflesia, it's a horrible suit to fight. It's got extremely high shot defense, it's weak to physical melee attacks, but you can't really use physical melee attacks on it because it has these like fucking tentacles. So yeah, the Rafflesia is still annoying as ever, but long story short, go at it with a rapid cooldown physical melee unit, which is kind of what all the cool people do. So yeah, even though it's annoying, it's still worth farming it out, because if you farm it out, you can max out all the cool returning multiplayer suits that are on the table this week. Now, I went over this in more detail on last week's episode, but long story short, you should be trying to get the Stargazer or the Johnny Gelgoog if you don't have them at all. But I do have them, so I'm personally trying to max out the Sword Strike Gundam, which is the only old suit I really need to max out this week. Lastly, a new battle circuit dropped, and it was so-so. I had some tough battles, but nothing major or crazy to report on. The hardest round for me ended up being the first round, which was 4 Forest. 4 Forest is a pretty obscure part, and I kept getting saddled with Dom parts, which were kind of annoying. But yeah, I got through it, and it was fun. Lastly, the game randomly gave us 5 free L marks again, and I have no idea what to use them on because they are only good on suits from last year. The last time this happened, I used literally all of them on my Nightingale, and this time I'm at a complete loss. So I'll probably have to really like think this out and like inspect all my units to figure out what makes the most sense for me. And you guys should do the same if you also got these 5 free Elmars. And that's all for me on the Gundam Breaker mobile front. I'm debating making some changes to my channel since I'm really close to getting that 1,000 subscriber bar that YouTube has set, but I keep like falling short. I'm still like 160 something people short. But hey, I'm still trying to make the channel work. Alright, thanks for coming by, you guys. I'll talk to you next week. MB out.